only on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again. And this time we're going to look at game number 18 in our 20 from the Nintendo Entertainment System series. And this was the first game in a series of games that featured, I guess, an angel in training named Pit. And his goal is to rescue the Princess Palutena, however it's pronounced, from the clutches of the evil Medusa. And this is Kid Icarus. And it has a definite Greek mythology theme about it. I was blown away how awesome this game was, and its music especially was really great. Really cool game. There is a password feature in which you can put in 24 letters for your password, because once you die, it's game over. You can start again, and you'll begin at the stage where you left off. There are a total of 4 stages, but there are 4 parts to all the stages except for the last one. The music, man, the music in this game I love it. It's great. The action is terrific, but it can be a little bit on the difficult side. There are stages that will scroll vertically upward. There are stages that will scroll horizontally to the right, and there will be stages where they don't scroll, and it's a big maze where you move from room to room. That is the 4th part of each stage, except for the last stage, where there's only 1 stage. We'll get to that later. I won't do a full playthrough, that would take forever. But we will at least do a playthrough of... maybe I did a full playthrough of the whole first level, I don't remember. But you control Pit, you jump onto the platforms, and you can fire arrows from your bow and arrow. There will be doors along the way in the stages, and that didn't seem like it had anything, but that's only because I didn't have a high enough score, I hadn't collected enough hearts, I hadn't shot enough enemies. There's a lot of factors that go into certain rooms being available for you, and that certain room would have been a room where I could increase my arrow strength. You can get up to 5 arrows to make your shots super strong. And the most prevalent enemy in this game, and there's the pause screen which will show you all the items you have, or special abilities that you have. The most prevalent enemy in the game is a snake. And they come out from these pots that might be just out of view in groups of 4. And they will appear as you pass by where they come out of. There will sometimes be a harp, and you can change the enemies into these hammers. Now the hammers can help free some allies on the 4th part of most of the stages. And there will sometimes be a room where you can collect more hearts. Hearts are the currency of Kid Icarus. Some enemies will give you large hearts, and those are worth 10. Some enemies will just give you half a heart, and that is worth 5. And some enemies will give a tiny heart, like the snakes that we saw earlier, and that's just 1. But there are like flying mice, and I forget what they're called in the game manual. And sometimes there will be the Grim Reaper. And he is a pain in the butt if he catches you trying to kill him. Note that he turns around every so often. Once you see him turn around and then turn back, then the coast is usually clear to go ahead and shoot him. But if he sees you, then he will sick a whole bunch of baby Grim Reapers after you, and they're really annoying. There is also a treasure room. Now, the goal in the treasure room, when it's got a black background, is there's 3 jars you need to shoot. The top left, the one below it, and the one in the bottom right. 1, 2, and 8, as I like to call them. And you look at what they leave, and that will tell you the one that you want to shoot last, so you can get a special item. If you have 0 mallets out of the first 3 ones you shot, then the treasure will be in jar number 4, the bottom left. There's a specific way to learn how to do it. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you all about it, but you can read it on the internet. But the last item that remains after you've safely shot all the others, that will be a special item, and there it is, a credit card, which will allow me to make one big purchase if I don't have enough hearts to buy it in the shops, and we'll see the shops later on. Yeah, sometimes there will be very small land purchases over abysses, and even though he's an angel in training and you see wings on him, he'll die if he falls into an abyss. That's kind of stupid, but later on in the game you could get an actual functioning wing. And on the very last stage you have permanent wings. And this is just do what I do to take care of those pesky Grim Reapers. That one's stuck in the ledge. Okay then. Some of the enemies might take more than one shot. Some of the enemies you don't have to deal with, and some of them you really do. And they'll try to follow your movements. And again, if you fall in the abyss, you're dead. So try to learn how to jump on the ledges carefully. And there I made it to the end. And the amount of points that you accrued during that stage will get added to your total. And if you did enough to get a lot of points, you might be able to get an extra life bar added. So you only have 1 to start, but you can get up to 5. So yeah, the first 3 stages are going to be scrolling platform hopping stages. And then the 4th stage will be a maze where you move from room to room. Whoops. And there will be a boss fight at the end if you take the right route to that room. Sometimes there will be a cup where you can pick it up and get 1 life bar filled back up. And we've got another room with these flying mice. I think they're called speck noses. But really, only stick around here if you really need some hearts. Something I didn't mention about the treasure room that we saw earlier, if you shoot the jar that has a Grim Reaper in it, the stage is over automatically. And that one that had the Grim Reaper in it was the one you wanted to shoot last. And again, the equation is that you need to determine which or how many hammers appear, or hammers or mallets appear in the 3 jars that you shot first. And in the treasure room with the black background, you need to shoot the top left, the one below it, and the one in the bottom right. Shoot those 3, and then see how many mallets you've gotten up to that point, and that'll determine which jar you want to shoot last to get a special treasure. And this time we are going to pick up the barrel, and I got to purchase the barrel on credit because I had that credit card. Now, I will not be able to collect hearts for a while until the total of the cost of that barrel is covered. Then I will be able to start accruing hearts, if you're able to understand that. On these cloudish platforms, or others that are kind of like it, if you press down, you will duck and fall through them, and you could fall into the abyss and die. Yeah, see, now we've got these annoying baby reapers. It's hard to kill him on this platform, but remember, he moves a little bit and then he turns around. And make sure that you time it so he doesn't turn around and see you. And there's another cup that refills 1 bar of life. There will sometimes be hot springs, or a hot spring, and it will heal you. And you can just sit in the hot spring until your energy's full. And we'll see that a little bit later. But yeah, you really don't have to fight these flying mice. Again, I think they're called speck nose or something. There's goofy names for all the enemies you face, and I can't hardly remember any of them. But yeah, you gotta watch out the way you jump across to these small land purchases. It's kind of reminiscent of some parts of Super Mario Brothers. But as you start to jump over the land purchase, start hooking backwards, and it'll allow you to land correctly. Now this is ideal, well, not getting touched by the snakes, but this is an ideal way to deal with the Grim Reaper. You can be underneath him on a ledge, and if you aim up in just the right spot, you can hit him from below without him seeing you, and without him freaking out and sending his little Grim Reaper minions after you. Well, I was able to get one hit on him. Maybe I can move a little bit more to the left. Man, the music I just love the music in this game. There. You don't have to go in every door, but notice that once you go in a door and go out, you can't go right back in. There is a feather that allows you one save out of the abyss if you fell in. And that you can purchase more hammers for a paltry $20 or 20 hearts. With the room that says, "May I help you? We have everything," you can actually press A and B, or B and A, on controller 2 together and lower the price. And they'll say, "I guess I can't win." In other rooms, that might have a negative effect, and they might raise the prices. Just notice that there are different types of shops. There's one called the Black Market, and there's one where they say, "May I help you? We have everything." The Black Market, they're a little less friendly in their demeanor, the shopkeeper. Notice that some of the enemies will just kind of fly around a bit, and some of them will start to make a dive attack at you. And again, with the snakes, they just drop out of those pots 4 at a time. And they will respawn a number of times before they stop coming. So if you want to raise your score a good deal, whoops, that was not good, then you can just keep killing snakes over and over again. But yeah, see, I have accrued 7 hammers. The hammers on the fourth part of the first 3 stages can free centurions that can help you in a boss battle, and we will see that later on. Now, by this point, we have these moving platforms. Yeah, I was a big fan of Kid Icarus, and I still like it a lot. But yeah, if you don't like... it's tough to try to deal with this stupid Grim Reaper. And note that you can warp from one edge of the screen to the next. But sometimes you can fall off a ledge doing that if there's no purchase there. The music changes from level to level, not part of each level or part of each stage or whatever. But yeah, just learn how to jump on the small land purchases, and sometimes there will be an enemy that'll sprout up near your feet and take a shot at you. Well, I hope you enjoy my... Oh, and these guys like to hop from below to try to reach you. And here, if you've appeased the gods enough with score, not many missed shots, killing a lot of enemies, there will be rooms where they might give you another arrow to make your arrow stronger. See, I now have 2 instead of just 1, so my arrows are stronger. Some enemies that might have taken more than 1 shot will now just take 1 shot to kill. I do not want to deal with the Grim Reaper there. And we'll just scoot forward a little bit. Here is one of the training rooms. Now, if you manage to survive this, and I really can't tell you where is a good spot to stand as you face these falling walls, which kind of makes me think of Xevious. But if you can survive all of these, they'll just keep appearing for a while. Whoops. Then you will get one of 3 special treasures. And there is a far-flying arrow, there's a flaming arrow, and there's a scepter that gives you a rotating shield. And you can take your pick of those. There will be multiple training rooms. So where it said treasures there, you can have those 3 different treasures. And you really want to get them for a better ending at the end of the game. And you can get a power-up if you've gotten a good enough score when you beat a stage, and that'll give you an extra block of energy. And here is the 4th part. Oop, I died. Here is the 4th part of each stage, except for the 4th stage. And this has connected rooms. And you want to try to reach where the boss is and destroy the boss. And there is a map down there. There will be a map, and once you collect it, you will see a grid of the playfield. You will also want to purchase a pencil and a torch from one of the shops in this maze area. And that will allow you to see where you've been and where you're at. And there, I used a hammer by pressing select and freed a centurion. Now these guys are one of the biggest pains in the asses in Kid Icarus. The Eggplant Wizards. They will throw eggplants in the air, and there's a healing spring. Recover my energy there. But the eggplants that they throw, if they touch you, you get turned into an eggplant. And then you have to go find a hospital. And the hospital will remove the eggplant curse. As an eggplant, you can't shoot. And now this is the boss of the stage 1-4. And he is like a Cerberus. And he's really not that hard. Note that my Centurion died off pretty quickly. But they can shoot. They'll shoot when you do. If you can get behind the Cerberus and just keep shooting him, he'll bump up like this, and you'll beat him quite easily. Or at least that's how it worked for me. And note that he has a energy meter at the bottom right, or energy digits. And he's quite easy to bring down, or at least I thought he was. And once he's destroyed, you get one of the necessary treasures to beat the game. The necessary treasures will make your fight against Medusa a lot easier. You'll be automatically given these treasures. And now one of the special treasures that I picked up, I've got to start this level. And that's the rotating shield. And there's another harp that turns the enemies into hammers for a short time. You don't have to free any Centurions. And there's another healing spring. You don't have to free any Centurions. There's how you do the blue background treasure room. You shoot 2, 6, and 7. See, there's a method. The method to get the treasure from the treasure room and not get the Grim Reaper. These guys, watch out for them. They can steal the treasures that you picked up from the special treasures that you picked up from the training room. But you can get them back, but you have to buy them from shops at really high prices. So try not to touch those guys. Hey, there's an abominable snowman. But we're just seeing snippets of the stages. And here's the second maze area, stage 2-4. And there is the hospital where you can have the eggplant curse removed. And we're going to get hit by the eggplant. Yeah, you can't shoot. Let's go to the hospital and get the eggplant curse removed. Yeah, those guys suck. Just have to know how to deal with them. And there's the pencil and the torch that you can purchase to see where you were at on the map, where you're currently at, or where you were at. But we don't even have the map quite yet. You can go back into a shop in this type of area if you didn't like the items that were for sale, and there might be something different. See, now that I have the map, you can see where I've been and where I'm currently at. And we're going to face the boss. And again, yeah, press B and A on controller 2, and you can lower the prices in some of the shops. I guess I can't win. And here is the second stage boss. And I've got some Centurions to help me. They help a little bit. And this boss is called Hugh Draw. And he is a snake that comes out of the lava. And he doesn't shoot or anything. You just have to know where to stand on the platforms to not get hit. Maybe jump over him at the right time. He's not that hard. The bosses generally are not super difficult. The last one is probably the hardest, or at least on the fourth part of the first 3 stages. Will I get another life bar extension? Hey, power up. There we go. And at the start of 3-1, you get a hot spring to go ahead and fill your energy back up. Isn't that nice? You can press down and you won't drown in the healing spring. But just sit there until your energy is completely filled back up. Yeah, see, I've got all 3 special weapons And then I've also purchased a barrel, and you can hold life jars, and the life jars will refill one of your bars of energy if you run out of life. Now look at those awful land purchases. There's my rotating shield, and it's very nice to have. And here's another arrow room where they give you extra strength to your arrows. And I have 4 arrows. And yeah, I think you can have a maximum of 5. Yeah, touching those red, whatever the hell they are, that'll hurt you. So try not to let that happen. And here's another training room. If you back out, they say, "You weakling." Well, I didn't need to go through the training because I already had those 3 special treasures. Now, I'm going to get the feather, and in that type of room they say, "Ha ha ha, thanks a lot," because they ripped you off. But the feather, like I think I mentioned before, will allow you to fall into the abyss and not die. You'll float back up like that for just a little bit. So try to find a safe land purchase. Now we're going to look at the 3-4 boss, and there's a shop just before them. And this, I think they're called Pandora, and it's this weird floating bubble. It disappears once in a while, but it's still there. You can still shoot where it is and hurt it. And it has these 2 bubbles that bounce around the screen, and you do not want to get hit by the bubble or Pandora. But just keep shooting Pandora. There's no major discernible pattern that I can find with either the bubbles or Pandora. They just kind of move around the room at will, and they'll dip and move back this way or that way or whatever without any real indication that's what they're doing. Just take your time. You're not timed on this boss stage. We're going to scoot forward to me beating Pandora. Sounds like a pigeon cooing when you shoot it. And there I get the last treasure before I go to the last stage, stage 4-1. And that is where I will fight Medusa. Eventually. And we will see me, I now have the 3 treasures that I collected on the way by beating the bosses. And they are the scepter, the fireball, or the fire arrow, and the rotating shield. But what I get here for this stage is actually a mirror shield, a pair of wings that is permanent, and a super strong arrow. Having the special treasures that you collected from the training room was key to getting a better ending than the worst ending. Even the worst ending isn't bad. We will look at a screenshot of each ending. I'm not going to get the best ending. The best ending makes Pit a full-fledged human-sized individual, and he gets a kiss from Princess Palutena, or Palutena, or however you pronounce it, I'm not sure. But there were numerous games of Kid Icarus. This was the only one for the Nintendo, and this was originally, of course, for the Famicom. It has some differences, especially the ending. We're just going to look at me playing the full 4th stage, 4-1. And it's really not that hard, I don't think. I think it's easier than the number of the... It's easier than a number of the platform hopping areas with really small purchases of land. But your arrows are much stronger, and they're like lasers almost on this stage. Medusa herself is super easy. Medusa herself is not even the main worry. There is a snake that moves about the screen that's more worrisome than her. If you manage to stay in the right spot to kill her, then she's a breeze. Note there's some monsters that split apart when you shoot them. Yeah, this game was so unique, so different, such great music. There were at least one game for the Game Boy. There was at least one game for the Nintendo Wii, I think, which was really kind of cool. Had some anime-styled cutscenes. But we are very close to Medusa, I believe. Some of the enemies, you can time it just right so you can hit them very easily. And note that my shots are very strong by this point, and they can cut through multiple enemies. They pass right through one. And we're coming right up on Medusa here. Yeah. You want to position it so you're just about right across from her. She's got a giant eye. Maybe, yeah, right about there. And your shots can take out the giant snake. And when she shoots beams at you, they will just miss. Very, very easy. And then after you beat her, you'll get an ending based on how many arrows you had out of 5, how many hearts you had. You can have up to 999 hearts. How many health bars you had. You can have up to 5. How many enchanted weapons you had. You can have up to 3. I've got all of them. All those factors maybe score as well. Depend on the ending that you will get. And there I beat Medusa. Very easy. Like I said, there's passwords that you can use. Pit will undergo some sort of transformation. I think there's a bad ending for the Famicom version where Pit turns into something really lame. I don't think it was an eggplant, but it was something non-human. Thank you, Pit. And I turned into like some sort of elite guard or something. Medusa was destroyed, and the light of peace returned to Angel Land. Blah 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 blah. Well, now we're going to look at the credits for Kid Icarus. What a classic, awesome game this was. I really liked Kid Icarus, and I still do. Still very playable, but gotta get used to some of the difficult challenges of the game, especially dealing with small purchases of land, landing on them and not falling into an abyss. Now, some of the codes, the passwords that I will show you, are super useful and will give you a whole bunch of items early on, like a whole bunch of life jars, a whole lot of feathers, perhaps. And again, a life jar will refill 1 bar of energy when your energy runs out. That is Kid Icarus by Nintendo in 1986. I think generally released in North America in 87. And you can continue on with your same score and same abilities. And if you missed an arrow the first time around, you might be able to go into a room and get another arrow. So yeah, you can play it through again. Kind of cool. Oh, I didn't have enough of something there. so I couldn't get another arrow there. But there's a look at one of the endings, and I think that's the lamest ending. There's another ending, and I think that's the ending that I ended up getting. And here is the best ending. Pit is human-sized, then she kisses him, and then angels drop hearts all over the two of you. Kind of cool. Well, here we're going to look at the passwords, and you can choose to start a game or put in a password at the very beginning. And we'll look at some of the passwords that are useful. Danger! 6 exclamation points. Terror, horror. Icarus fights Medusa angels. These are easy to remember. Duvans, Mamor, Comor, Bortot. Maybe not that one. Paking. I don't know what paking means. And H-ooh. But these are all helpful passwords. Kid Icarus, Kid Icarus. Note that there are lowercase and uppercase words. Icarus and the arrows flying. Well, that was Kid Icarus, game number 18 in R20 from the Nintendo Entertainment System, released by Nintendo, and released in the US in '87, I believe. But that was Kid Icarus, game number 18 in R20 from the Nintendo Entertainment System series. Have a good one, everybody, and I'll see you soon with game number 17. Bye-bye, folks.